Welcome back to another round of TFR eSports Season 25 in the F3 division. And I say another round, it is indeed the final round of the season here in Abu Dhabi. We've got about 2 minutes left of qualifying here, and then we will be finished for all of our qualifyings in F3 this season. The first proper full season of F3 in TFR eSports, and what a season it has been. It's been action-packed right from the get-go, and it's very much now just a matter of finishing things off. Ledanes is going to be champion. It's going to happen because Alfie has not made it tonight. He had a bad race in Saudi Arabia last week, and then it all came crumbling down, which means Ledanes just has to get the checker flag, and then he will be crowned champion. And in some ways, maybe not quite the way he wanted to do it, but he might not care one bit. In some sense, he'll be able to enjoy it and just round off his season. Elsewhere, it's an opportunity for everybody else to try and get that last victory of the season, or a podium, or a top 5 finish, something to remember the season for. And Abu Dhabi usually does throw up a surprise here and there. We have James currently on pole for Mercedes. He's kind of reserving tonight, but getting himself set for next season, so we'll see how he fares in the F3 division, with Ultimate Stan currently on the front row, with Ledanes on the second row there, with Ollie Bean in fourth. McLaren technically could still come back in the Constructors' Championship, however they would need maximum points tonight, which is not going to happen because there's only one McLaren here at the minute. So that also means that Haas, which is Alfie and Cypher Mega Hype, are most likely now crowned the F3 Constructors Champions. Right then, let's crack on with the final proceedings. We've got a Red Bull of MB, who was the winner last time out, has now popped himself onto the front row. We've got Larry here about to start a final flying lap. His teammate has an engine penalty, RW, so that is why he is out of the session, and he will be starting from the back of the grid. Norfian, Action Rick, and Cypher Mega Hype, and James will all not improve in these final stages because they are into the pit lane. We had a car across the line there. I think that was Veer. Veer improved by 0.4 of a second to get up the order there. Ledanes crosses the line, improves, but remains fourth in his final lap of this F3 season. We've got the McLaren next of Ollie Bean coming through the final couple of corners. Absolutely foot to the floor in that penultimate corner now, and oh, he's got it all wrong though in the final corner there, and does indeed lose a heap of time, and that is his lap done and dusted. It's also done and dusted for MB, but here comes Nuki Boy. I could see he was getting a little bit of a toe off his teammate down the main track, and he's on the front row. 7/10 improvement. What a qualifying session that is so far for Red Bull, second and third. Fair play. They have been really, really strong in these final few races of the season. They have been absolutely delivering. Here is Ultimate Stan though, getting a little bit out of shape there as he comes underneath the hotel section and invalidates this lap, and he has actually spun it. He's spun it, and here comes a Sauber, and he's hit him. He's hit him. And that could be a grid penalty for somebody there, and it is a 5-place grid penalty for Ultimate Stan there. Lit up the rear tyres, and Larry has just clattered into him with nowhere to go. And Larry, sadly for him, will only start a P10 for the final race of the season. And Veer has already finished his qualifying. So that is your lot then. That is your grid. We've got NMX James on pole position for Mercedes, with Nuki Boy on the front row, with MB just behind. Less than 3/10 separating the top 4. It's all up for grabs, that is for sure in this one. And there'll be a lot riding on the start of this race as well, because you can get a right old run down that main straight, and there you see it, that 5-place grid penalty right at the end there for Ultimate Stan. That'll move Ledanes then up into 4th place, and the 4 cars behind him all will move up a spot as well. I think that's probably about right. I mean, I have to say, Larry, wouldn't have probably known that car was going to emerge there, and obviously with no ghosting here, it does mean that if you run into a car like you would in real life, you're going to hit it. There is no ghosting to bail you out on that one. The stream is now out for everybody to view, so please do tune in and like the stream if you enjoy what you're watching, and let me know what your final podium prediction is going to be of the season. Do subscribe as well to the channel, because we will be back very quickly, actually, for the season 26, because pre-season starts for that next week, and then Australia in 2 weeks' time. So we're not hanging about this time around. It will be the final season with these F1 2025 cars, and so we're getting straight into the thick of it. Jane says hi on the chat, and big support for Larry and Ladanes in the chat as well. Right then, here we go. This is going to be the final round then of the F3 division in a cloudy Abu Dhabi. I didn't think you'd see that, but it is very much overcast conditions there. No chance of rain before anyone jumps on that one, but very much overcast conditions that will transition into the night as the race goes on. Let's see then. James, on his debut, is on pole alongside Nuki Boy for the final time in F3 this season, and we are underway. James then gets a fairly good launch. Nuki Boy maybe not quite so, because his teammates coming at him from the outside. Ladanes is on the inside of the pair of them. They're free wide into the first corner, and somehow they avoid any kind of contact there. Oh, and they have made contact this time around. It's Ladanes. You just knew that was going to happen. Ladanes has tumbled down the order, and it's absolute chaos. And, well, he's all the way down into fifth. It was looking a bit worse than that. And the two Red Bulls have managed to somehow scamper Koya, but they were so close there. And, oh, there's a spinning Action Rick there at the back as well. And unfortunately for him, I think he might have picked up a little bit of front wing damage as well. But Ladanes then coming under more pressure then from Kerbal. No, the Sauber getting chucked off the circuit there. Not quite sure exactly what happened there to Larry getting absolutely punted off there, you have to say, but it's absolute chaos there in that midfield. Cars side by side, left, right and centre. But like I say, the two Red Bulls managed to get clear of that. But I have to say, it was always looking like that was going to happen. Going into that first corner, it reminded me a little bit of Verstappen a couple of years ago on the McLaren. I think it was Piastri. It's that first corner. Ladanes there trying quite an ambitious move right up the inside. There's more contact there as well in the background. Someone's just flicked up a bit of something, and going into the hotel section there, getting very, very aggressive. Veer and Cypher Mega Hype there having a bit of a scrap as well, and there goes Cypher Mega Hype now off the circuit. So he's now got damage on the front wing, down into 12th place, and well, there you have it, those two there at the very back, and well, not quite what we hoped for those two, but there's still a long race to go. And yeah, Komanik saying there, 5 wide in a 13 grid race is mad. Well, that's F3 for you. It's like that almost every week. So James here hasn't managed to pull clear of MB. MB is on a bit of a charge. We've seen this from the Red Bulls this season. And Ultimate Stan now has very quickly managed to get himself back into play. You can see him there in the Alpine in 4th place. We've got very much a 4-way scrap here for the win, it seems. And that is how it was looking like in qualifying. James might have been a little bit safe out front in quali, a couple of attempts clear. But that might not happen here in the race. Here we go then. Here comes MB with DRS and pulls to the outside on James. And it's an easy pass with the DRS there, swooping right around the outside. Easy as you like. And we have a spinner. And unfortunately, it's Action Rick. More trouble then for Action Rick then. That's a second spin in 2 laps for him. But these top 4 have well and truly managed to gap Kerbal. That's 3.6 seconds now. Larry now picking up an early time penalty there. Which is unfortunate for him, but there's an almighty queue behind the Ferrari of Kerbal then in P5 all the way down into P12, you could argue, but certainly at least down to Ladanes, as he's actually in a little battle there with Larry on the start-finish straight. Larry then now, getting a bit of a punt there from Ollie Bean from behind. They're all starting to just merge into each other, and nobody's able to get clear. Kerbal doesn't have damage, despite what someone is saying in the comments there, and he is still marching on. He's managed to get a second clear to Ladanes, and there goes Larry then up the inside now as well. And we have a change for the lead. That is James then back into the lead then, ahead of MB, but they are all still very, very close in that pack at the top there. And there's going to be two battles that I'm having to seriously keep an eye on here, because they are all going at it. But we have two real scraps on. We've got a battle for fourth. We've got a battle for the lead. It's going to be a bit of an impossible job to keep up with this one, it seems. But yes, I'm seeing people saying as well already about strategy. It is looking, it's obviously a very simple one-stop strategy in F3 because it's only 25%. But the hard tyres are very good at Abu Dhabi. I don't know what it is about. I don't know if it's the type of compound or what, but the soft tyres, you're very tempted to use them, but they're not that great of a race tyre. You can make it work, but the hard tyres are the ones going. Speed of tyres, let's bring it up. I can't believe I actually didn't bring that up on the screen. Do apologise. So we've got the top four then all on mediums. Carnival then on the soft tyres, with Ledane's also on the softs, and then it's North in Sci-Fi Mega Hype towards the back there on those hard tyres. Sci-Fi Mega Hype has only just pitted. Action Rick as well has pitted. No, he hasn't actually. No, Action Rick is still on the same medium tyres. So Sci-Fi Mega Hype is our early stopper then. And he'll be able to go to the end, and those hard tyres, they actually do have some decent race pace. Look at the state of that then. We've got multiple position changes into that hairpin there, and it looks as though Ledane's then is tumbling down the order even more, and they're going at it again though here, because look at the speed that he's got. Having a right old run at the McLaren and the Sauber, and well, Larry is fighting this hard, but Ledane's will have the more favourable line. But meanwhile, further up the order, there goes Ultimate Standard. There goes MB for the lead. So two overtakes there down that second straight. MB back into the lead. We're going to see a bit of this DRS chicken for a while here, of people chopping and changing positions until those pit stops with all these drivers on the same compound tyre. And they're all sharing fairly similar pace here. So coming towards the end of lap 4, we're probably talking a couple laps time until we see these guys diving in the pits, but we will see quite a few changes of position just with the sheer speed difference of having DRS and the slipstream behind. You are a bit of a sitting duck. It's not quite Monza levels or other circuits where you are literally standing no chance if you're the car ahead, but the problem with this circuit is there's so much time in that final sector. You can just charge the battery up and then just empty it all down the straight to get your overtake done, or try and defend it even. But particularly overtaking, it makes it very difficult to defend if you have not got that DRS. MB then will happily lose the DRS here, as James is going to sweep past him because he'll get it back down the next straight if he plays this clever. As Almost Stand though, oh my word, gets that incredibly wrong there, under braking, and almost clatters into MB, and he will actually try and pick off the Red Bull now down this next straight. However, MB has that DRS, which will cover him off quite nicely, and I tell you, we've had a shunt further down, and Larry's got a time penalty now for corner cutting. Who was that? It's Northey. Northey's gone off the circuit there. Now down into 11th, our hard tyre runner, and well, that's a shame to see for him, and there's a move there into the hotel section. Ultimate Stand now having a little go there. He is on a charge here, Ultimate Stand. I don't know if he's frustrated after qualifying or what, but he is holding nothing back at the minute and dives in the pit lane. Saying he was driving aggressively, he's absolutely attacking this race. That's slightly early, I have to say. I mean, it'll be fine. It is slightly early as Carabol now gets a time penalty as well whilst entering the pit lane. The most annoying penalty you can get at this circuit. Hard tyres understandably go on the car. It'll also be hard tyres, I'd imagine, for the Ferrari further down. I am keeping an eye on that battle at the top. It's medium tyres for Carabol, so that is it's a bold strategy. Not quite sure it'll pay off, but we'll see how he gets on. So James now has got a pair of Red Bulls on his tail. So I'm saying, sure, that's removable. I'm afraid not. I'm pretty sure if you do just cut that white line, and I mean, if he's already got 2 warnings anyway, it is exceeding track limits because you are gaining time. But anyways, here comes MB, pulls the outside on James. Great helicam shot. Finally, we're getting that camera angle as they swoop around that corner, and look at that. Brilliant stuff from MB. Just managed to hang it on. You could just see James there just not quite able to keep hold of the traction through that corner, and as they go under the hotel section, it's MB now back into the lead. And further down the order, Veer, we're getting very close to Larry. MB doesn't pit, but his teammate does. I like this. I like this. With this Red Bull pair, they're so close on pace, and they play it smart. One is battling with the other, and the other is doing the opposite. Covering Ultimate Stan's early stop, getting a fresh set of boots on, and we'll keep an eye on where he comes out the pits, as we've got a McLaren of Ollie Bean and Ledane's pitting further back there. Here comes then Nuki Boy down through this tricky pit exit, a pretty unique pit exit which goes under the circuit, and I'm looking for Ultimate Stan, and he's well clear. Well clear. Good couple of seconds clear, actually. So the undercut is very powerful as James then moves back into the lead once more. These two doing a carbon copy. And I bet you bottom dollar that MB will get a DRS here and come straight back at him and retake the position. Seems to like this outside move, and it's a job done. So MB then back into the lead. We saw that the Sauer pair actually have a little scrap down that main straight, and Larry obviously with the penalty, but RW with the grid, well, the engine penalty that he had to take, so he couldn't qualify. Recovering well here now, ahead of his teammate, and this midfield scrap, these guys staying out a little bit longer, and Ultimate Stan will be hoping they dive in the pits very, very soon, because he is approaching them at a rapid rate of knots. Nuki Boy's had a decent outlap here as the top two dive in the pits, and Nuki Boy did get that gap down to 2 seconds. It has gone up slightly now as he did clear Northey on this lap. Do these guys pit? Well, one of them does, as there goes RW getting that penalty as well. I think they do cut it though. I do think they cut that pit entry, which means you are going to get a penalty. There goes Ultimate Stan, easy pass, and he will take the lead here as he gets a time penalty for exceeding track limits. And there is Nuki Boy, critically, going to be alongside his teammate here on the exit. Oh, and look how close those two are. Dearie me, the two Red Bulls there, absolutely nothing between them. James has lost out then in the pits, and he is now behind everyone in that four-way scrap, so something's gone on there. And, well, MB moves ahead of his teammate, easy as you like with a DRS. They'll only have Larry in the way of Ultimate Stan, but Ultimate Stan has had an absolutely storming outlap there. I said he was playing this aggressive. He has had a couple of laps to pull clear of MB and James, but he is on a bit of a flyer. He may pay the price later on, because those hard tyres will start to be hurting. And the key thing is here, he has a penalty. So if MB, Nuki Boy and James recover nicely here, they can just sit behind him, and then they will pick him off later on once the penalty is applied. But for them, they have got Larry a little bit in the way here. They'll be praying that Sauerbird dives on the pits, because it's not the right place. You want to get stuck behind him. We have a yellow flag. I think that's just Cypher Mega Hype. And Larry continues on. And, well, MB might have to just chuck this up the inside. He's going to make the move now. Down the start-finish straight. And he pulls clear of Larry, who pulls right back in front of Nuki Boy, which he will not appreciate at all. But he's going to get him now into this next corner. And now Larry will be coming under pressure from James as well, who also picks him off. So Larry really struggling there on 8-lap old medium tyres. That'll be someone to keep an eye out for Carabold later on, with how his mediums are falling off. But I really do think the hard tyre is the way to go, because look at Ultimate Stan now, 2.8 seconds lead out front. Them Red Bulls are going to have to work together if they want to close that down, because Ultimate Stan at the minute is on a charge. They've managed to pull it down a little bit, but Kobanek is right in the chat. That has helped Stan a lot there. And we are rapidly running out of laps. Anyone watching concerned with F2, I'm afraid to say, that will be delayed by about, we're probably saying about 10 minutes. We've got about 6 laps or so left here, so we're saying about 10-minute delay for F2. Be sure to tune in for that one. It is the big title decider. It's probably got more eyes on that than the F1 division this season, which says a heck of a lot, with how that championship battle is facing up. When it's F2 not delayed, that's a very good point. It never isn't delayed, shall I say, but that's TFR eSports for you. Just enjoy it. Right, we're on to lap 10. Larry's got another time penalty because he has just done exactly what his teammate did. And so too's Kerbold. He's got a 3-second time penalty as well. They're just handing them out like presents right now. What are we up to here? So 3 seconds for Ultimate Stand, 6 now for Kerbold, 9 for Larry, and then a penalty each for Veer and RW further down. This race could be quite heavily impacted on penalties later on, and particularly if we have a late safety car. I don't think we're going to get a safety car in this kind of race. F3 does usually behave itself quite well and doesn't tend to throw in these crazy safety cars at the very end. James is getting a bit of a move on now. He knows he's running out of laps here, but these guys are catching Ultimate Stand. Ultimate Stand has not been able to maintain that pace, and he will start to feel the difference of having a couple lap older hard tyres. James having a little look to the inside. Dearie me, that is a dive bomb and a half. I mean, in a high speed corner like that, that was ambitious, and Nuki Boy defends it well. I have to say, defends that quite well to hang on there. Ledane's then back up in front of Ollie Bean, your new champion, that is only about 5 laps away from making it official. And, well, yeah, I'm not sure about that from James. That seemed, it was very clean. That's very, very true, Code Manic. But it was kind of clean because nobody turned in on each other and it kind of just saw it in time. But that very easy. Could have been a tangle. That has now lost Nuki Boy a bit of time, and Ultimate Stand's a very good final sector there because he's put more time back on MB, so that is definitely not done yet. But Nuki Boy is going to be vulnerable here because you can just see a little slide down at the corner, and we have had a spinner, and that is Veer, I believe. There goes James. Clean pass then on Nuki Boy. But that is Veer, I think, at the first turn, and yeah, he's got big damage on that front wing now. So that'll be a shame for him that he's going to have to do these final 5 laps of the season with a bit of a wounded car. But, right. And Nuki Boy's come back at him. He's come back at him there. Right around the outside. He's hanging it on. Can he do it? Yes, he can. He's going to have the inside line this time around. So close on the exit there for touching tyres. But Nuki Boy has done it. He's managed to get that position back. I didn't expect to see that so quickly, but that just shows how powerful that DRS, if you just stay within it for that second straight, and you can see the rear lights flashing on both of the cars there, absolutely trying to get that battery desperately recharged, and MB's had a much better lap that time around, almost getting that under a second. And there is another move then into the first corner, almost from James. He's swooping to the inside, probably getting a little bit frustrated now, but these two having an absolute hammer and tongue battle here then for that final podium spot. They're probably going to have to give up on the win unless something happens up the road, but these two are going at it here for that third place. James really again looking to that inside, trying to find a way through, but we'll now have a great exit and we'll have a serious run at Nuki Boy. Keegan an eye on MB up the road, but there goes James then up into P3. MB very close once again, and there goes Nuki Boy up the inside again. He's defended it again. I mean, fair play, because they're both just compromising each other here, but he is absolutely going for this here. Screw the win. He's going for this P3 as MB has made the move up the road. An easy overtake on Ultimate Stand, and it's an easy pass for Nuki Boy. Again, up into P3. So, this battle is raging on here, and whoever put that comment in about Ultimate Stand probably hanging on for P2 here, he is going to get P2 at the minute, because them two are fighting so hard for that P3, but they've probably just accepted, who cares, I want to get on that podium, let's just duel this out in the final few laps. We have 3 laps to go of this F3 season. Ultimate Stand is still right there with MB, and there is a little tactical swap, so Nuki Boy this time around gives up that position to James, so then he'll get the DRS down the main straight. Oh, as the car gets incredibly slidey there. Maybe the tyres are starting to get a little bit worn. They won't be too bad though, because it is obviously hard tyres. They could both be on the podium. That is the very true thing, Code Manic. If they didn't scrap, they'd both get on the podium anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Ultimate Stand then is going to retake the lead here, as he will now chuck it up the inside. He needs to make that a super clean move so he doesn't lose too much time. But Nuki Boy didn't make that move down that straight. That makes a bit of contact there, though, as Ledanes then breezes past Karbold. There is MB back ahead of Ultimate Stan. What's going to happen this time around? I don't think Nuki Boy's going to be close enough. And James will indeed maintain that P3. So a bit more of a cleaner lap for these two. They've been obviously clean all the way through this one, but in terms of battling, they would have got a bit more of a clean lap there. But so they're okay right now. They are, well, it's James that will nip ahead of Ultimate Stan. Ultimate Stan is technically still within a podium here. This will literally go right to the last lap in terms of what will the podium look like here. Karbold has got another time penalty, and yeah, his mediums will be seriously worn now, so we will keep an eye on that in terms of how he may fall off. However, the two sour powered drivers, they have really fallen off quite badly actually in the second half of the race, and sadly for them, they are not really going to gain much more in this one, and with the amount of penalties Larry's got, he will tumble down the order. So they are catching Ultimate Stan slightly here, but this is not good now for Nuki Boy. Nuki Boy will not end up on the podium as it stands, and he has to somehow. Oh, what was that? Was that half spin for Ultimate Stan? I heard something. I don't know if anyone else heard that on the audio, but I heard definitely some wheel screech in there. But Veer sets the fastest up the race. You could see as Northie makes a lunge there into the hairpin on Sci-Fi Mega Hype. Right, so the gap is still good enough for Ultimate Stan. However, as we're about to start the final lap here, he did briefly dip out of DRS here. It's going to get a little bit tight, and he's got another penalty. He's got another penalty then, Ultimate Stan, and that might just be curtains on his podium in this final round of the season, as we are now on the final lap of this F3 season. MB then is looking comfortable now to win this one. It is very true, Nifo. It's a very hard track not to get penalties out. We're going to see a lot of penalties tonight across the divisions. So this is now a straight fight for P2, unless the handbags get out here and this gets a little bit ugly. These two will be safe unless they drop about 3 seconds to almost stand this final lap. So how does Nuki Boy do this? Is he going to absolutely send it? Let's see. Is this going to be a 1-2 for Red Bull? He'll be absolutely desperate for it. He'll be absolutely sending this in this next bit. A clean exit, and he will be going for this. Oh, and it's absolutely not a clean exit. He almost wipes out the DRS board, and he couldn't quite get the traction on, and that might just be the chance gone. He's not going to be close enough here, and unless he can get inventive here with some kind of ambitious overtake. Oh, and he's dropped it. He's dropped it. Oh, he's hit the wall. Oh, dearie me. He's gone all in there, and he has potentially just blown the podium, and I think he might have done as well. It's about 3 tenths in it. It's going to be very, very close. And but here is MB then. He's going to win once again. He won in Jeddah, and he's going to win here in Abu Dhabi to round the season off for Red Bull in style. A victory then for MB. James is second then, jumps ahead, and Nuki Boy will not get the podium, going for that second place on the last lap. And here is Ledanes, your F3 World Champion of Season 25. Ledanes didn't have the most memorable race tonight, but he is indeed the World Champion, and congratulations to him. He is the deserving winner of this inaugural TFR eSports F3 season, and he got his wins early in the season. He hasn't won since Hungary, would you believe it? But he has got it over the line. He had a bit of a struggle in the second half of the season where Alfie was coming back at him. He was taking points out of him race after race. There was 4 races in a row at one point where he was dropping points after points. But it was indeed Ledanes who hung on to claim that championship, as Veer rounds off our season in F3 with donuts then at the final corner there. The rest of the results, we had Ollie Bean in 6th, which obviously wasn't enough for McLaren and constructors. That goes to Haas. Karbold in 7th, with RW in 8th, Cypher Mega Hyper 9th, and Northie completing the top 10 for RB. With then an Action Rick, Larry and Veer completing the point scorers. Everyone finished the race. Great to see. Great to see the season end in that way, where everyone has got it over the line. But congratulations to MB on that victory and a first podium in his first race for James. But right, that is your lot then for F3 this season. And you'd have to say MB probably knocking on the door of F2 next season. There could be quite a few from this division going up into F2 next season. And, well, a great race to end the season that, because we had 4 guys going at it there. Nuki Boy and James with a brilliant battle for that podium spot. And actually Nuki Boy in the end just going for the big prize there of a Red Bull 1-2. Got a little bit ahead of himself and has to settle for 4th. But those Red Bull drivers can be pleased with their end of the season. And Ledanes can obviously be very pleased, as he is now the world champion. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this season. It's been a fantastic season of F3 action. And, yeah, brilliant stuff, really, from the beginning to the very end. And it's great to have a 3rd division up and running in TFR eSports. That will be back in season 26. So that is your lot then. We're going to move on to the big one in F2, so be sure to tune in for that one. But thank you everyone for watching F3 this season, and do subscribe and like the stream if you've enjoyed what you've been watching, and we'll be back next season for season 26.